Hey, Thomas from Field Tennis. This is part one of the series of videos I recorded on the topic of reading the serve and disguising the serve and also outsmarting your opponent with the serve. So today we're going to look at reading the serve. What can we read from the serve type and maybe direction, yes or no, how difficult it is to read that. And then we're in the part two. Next time, we're going to move on how to disguise your serve so that your opponent cannot see what you're up to. So how does our opponent read our serve? Well, they read it by the toss. So I'm going to serve now 3 serves. First, we're going to look from here from close up where it's going to be very obvious how I vary my toss for each type of serve. So for slice, flat and topspin. And then we're also going to look from the distance. I will put the camera on the other side so that you have similar perspective like you would have in a match, because here I'm just like 3 or 4 meters from the camera, and on the court you will be 25 meters or more. In feet, maybe you'll be like 80 feet away from the server, and so the the player will be very small and the ball variation will be very small in space, and you will have to notice that little variation of the toss in space in order to read the serve. So, but let's start here. I'm going to try and hit 3 serves in a row where I'm going to vary my toss so that it's the most comfortable for each type of the serve that I'm serving. So here are the 3 serves from the back view. Can you tell which serve type this will be? Yeah, this is a flat serve. What about this one? You can see a toss a bit more to the right. So yeah, that's a slice serve. And obviously the last one, topspin serve, ball coming a bit more to the left. So here are the contact points for each serve type. So at first, if I just show you like this, you can already try and tell. But if I put the lines between the ball, so center on the ball and to my body, then it's more obvious to see. So you can see on the left side is topspin serve because the ball is most to the left, and in the middle is a flat serve, and on the right is a slice serve because the ball is the most to the right. So now you can see from this angle, a close up, slow motion, we freeze the frame. It's very obvious. Now let's see if you can tell as well when we put the camera on the other side so that you have a perspective like a returner. Hey there! This is how far you would see your opponent, so camera might distort a little bit, but I've placed the camera like just a meter behind the baseline, so that's where you would normally be standing watching your opponent about to serve. So I will do a few serves. I'll record like this just that you see how far it is. Then I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that it's a bit more clear, and I want to show you how typical serves look like. So I will serve in a way that suits me the most. So I will toss a slice serve a bit more to the right, flat serve will be a bit more here, and topspin serve will be there. So we're going to see how opponent reads your serve and what's obvious and what isn't. Flat, slice, topspin. In, let's go slice. Nice slice, very obvious slice. And topspin. Okay, these were perfect, very obvious serves, each toss. So let me zoom in a little bit so that you can see a little bit better. So looking at the contact point of the serve helps us identify the type of the serve. Of course, not with 100% certainty, but with good probability. But the contact point is a little bit late to determine what type of serve is coming. So what can help us read the serve is looking at the trajectory of the ball toss. So here are 3 types of serves, and I'm going to track the ball like this so that we see the difference in the trajectory of the ball flight. So this one was a flat serve, and I'm going to change the color now. So this is a slice serve. So if I follow the ball, you can see that this ball has a very kind of vertical trajectory. And if we go for topspin serve and I follow the ball, you can see that this ball is flying differently. And these are the trajectories of the balls that you're trying to detect when you're looking at the serve toss. So if I just play them again, as you see, you can identify this one was the first one, flat serve. And so that's one thing that's going to help you read the serve, especially from long distance, and hit at normal speed. Right now we are slowing down so that it's obvious and clear how is the ball trajectory. But in reality, this will happen faster, and you cannot really wait to see what's the contact point of the serve. That's just like kind of your last confirmation. You're trying to see what is the trajectory of the ball that is going to help you read the type of the serve. So now that you've seen how we can read the type of the serve, flat, slice, topspin, based on the toss position, but we cannot really tell direction well, which you will see in a minute, how does that help us? So everyone would like to see where is opponent serving, which direction, but it's very difficult to tell unless you have a beginner really orienting like that. Once you have an advanced player orienting like this for the serve, it's very difficult to tell direction. But we can tell the type of the serve pretty well. So how does that help us? First, if I know that a flat serve is coming, fast flat serve, then I am preparing myself to react very quickly. So I'm trying to stay low, and I'm ready for very quick reactions, short back swings, and I know my target, so I'm trying to play deep down the middle, push the ball. If I know that a slice serve is coming, whether it's really coming out wide or more in my body, I know that that has a curve, which means that when I'm about to return the slice serve, I have to commit to the ball. I cannot just do like this and hit it because it keeps curving away from me and I'm going to mishit it. So when I know a slice serve is coming and it's coming out wide, typically on the juice side, I really have to commit myself to moving and intercepting the ball so that I get a clean hit. And I really focus on staying low because slices tend to stay low, especially on hard courts. So I don't want to kind of come up too quickly on a slice serve. I want to stay low, commit to the ball, and intercept it. And if I know a topspin is coming, then I have to make a decision whether I'm going to step in and take the ball a little bit early before it comes to the highest contact point, which is the most difficult for me. So I don't want to return here at this height, let's say backhands especially. So I have to decide early enough when I read, okay, it's a topspin serve. Even if it's a first serve, sometimes players choose the first serve as a topspin serve, and we can see based on their toss and contact, oh, that's a topspin serve. I have to make a quick decision. Am I going to step in and take the ball early, or am I going to go further back, let the ball come down, and hit a deeper topspin? So that's how reading the serve helps us. We can adjust like little programming in our mind, how we're going to adjust our return technique and our return tactic. But in terms of direction, it's very difficult to see where the ball is going, as you're going to see right now. So now that you're aware that we can read the type of the serve, you want to know, can we read the direction of the serve? That's what every player would like to know. They would like to anticipate the direction, whether serve is left or right or in the body. And the answer is that it's almost impossible to read the direction of the serve because the racket angle change to make a different direction is very, very small. So if we look first from this angle, I have two serves here. I'm going to play them at quarter speed. So you just observe first and notice what happens. So you can see these are flat serves. One is going down the tee and the other one is going out wide. So if I go a little bit slower here, and that you can watch, and you're looking at the trajectory of the toss and you're looking at the position where I hit the ball, there's basically no difference. From this, it's almost impossible to tell. You can just see slightly angled racket, but of course we need to slow down the image, freeze the image. I can also use the overlay feature like this and put both serves, in the same image, and you can see that the variation is extremely small and basically impossible to tell. So here are two serves that are synchronized, so they're hit at the same time. The serve on the left goes down the tee, and the serve on the right goes out wide. And so I just want to show you here in super slow motion what is the difference in the racket angle. So if we just go like this, you can barely see it, right? So if I were to play this at normal speed, then obviously you can't really see the difference. And that's what you would be looking at. In normal speed, obviously, you can't watch in slow motion. So even in slow motion, if we try to see what is the difference in racket angle, and if we zoom in the contact, then you can see obviously that the racket on the right is slightly more angled. And this is all that it takes to direct the ball a little bit more to the left. So this ball went quite well in the direction of the corner of the service box, and this one was quite close to the tee line. So even from side view in super slow motion, it's barely noticeable. And when you're watching the player from front view, from this view, at the distance of 25 meters or close to 80 feet, there is no way you can see this small change in racket angle at normal speed.